So you're a social media manager and you want to learn how to attract more clients with little to no real life experience? Perfect, you're in the right place. Stay tuned, I have the solution for that in this video. And honestly, I totally know where you're coming from because this was me just 5 short years ago. I was just starting out and I was committed to success. Yet I felt super insecure because I didn't know exactly what I was doing, especially in those first few months. And because of this, I felt hesitant to call myself a professional or expert, much less expect a client to see me that way as well. As you can imagine, this caused a lot of dissonance for me early on. It's been a process over time though to gain both confidence and experience, but I know what it's like when the overarching blaring question is, how do I get clients to trust me when I'm just starting out and I have no prior experience? Don't worry, there is a solution for you. Now let's dive in. I want to start off with a quick mindset tip that totally changed things forever for me. Oftentimes, you are encouraged to fake it till you make it. And while that idea has a proper time and place as a new business owner, I want to actually encourage you to do the opposite and embrace your newness, especially when you're just starting out. This means being honest when you're amongst people who know more than you. If there's an agency owner at a networking event, let's say, that you really look up to, don't try to play it cool. Let them know that you respect them and their work, and that's where you can insert yourself to ask questions. Early on, make sure that you are a sponge around other business owners because that's how they got to where they are now. And believe it or not, business owners actually love helping people. Take it from me, a business owner, I love helping especially new ambitious people learn, especially when they are eager to do so. The other thing about this is that people also gravitate toward people who have a willingness to just figure it out. So if you don't know something when a client asks, be straightforward and just say, you know, I'm not exactly sure about that one and I don't want to give you incorrect information. Let me figure it out and I will get back to you. There is nothing wrong with doing that because friends, in 2023, guess what? Everything is figure outable. Do me a quick favor, would you? If that quote put things into perspective, would you please take a second to like this video? Okay, with all of that in mind, let's jump into the practical stuff. How do you start working with clients when you have no experience? So here is what you need to do. You need to build your portfolio. And I know what you're thinking, Lorraine, but how do I build a portfolio of work when no one has wanted to work with me yet? I don't have any clients. The answer is make your own work. A portfolio is this thing that would live on your website and showcase all of your abilities as a social media manager, and that's all. You don't necessarily need to be hired by someone to showcase your abilities, do you? You just need to imagine a problem and a potential client solution, and then you create the material to solve that problem. It doesn't mean the problem has to be real. This could mean that, let's say your favorite makeup brand is doing a hypothetical sweepstakes giveaway and you're hypothetically tasked with promoting it, or your favorite local charity hypothetically needs to boost brand awareness to get more donations, or maybe a random made-up Italian restaurant hypothetically needs a brand book from you, right? You can see here the hypotheticals could go on and on, but at the end of the day, you have a chance to create and show your strategy. The material you create to solve these hypothetical problems, that stuff is totally fair game to include in your portfolio. Now, that isn't to say that you can put this work on your portfolio and pass it off as real work you did for clients. That would just be shady and lame. Don't do that. But if you do make mock-ups or spec work, you will need to clearly label it as such, especially if you created spec work for real brands. I know it sounds like disclosing that might hurt your chances, but you'd be surprised at how little people actually care about whether or not the work you did was actually for a real client. Creating portfolio materials without being asked actually shows grit and a willingness to be proactive, especially if the work is high quality, and it should be. Having a portfolio composed entirely of mock-ups may even put you a cut above somebody who does have social media management experience but doesn't have a portfolio. Think about that. There is power in letting your work speak for itself, so don't overlook it. And don't wait for someone to hire you to do it. Take the initiative. The power is in your hands. The next thing you can do is reach out to some of your favorite local spots and stay with me, do some work pro bono, meaning free work. Okay, so listen, do not get me wrong. This career path can be very lucrative. You are not disillusioned about that. I would never expect you to work for free for long. But when you are new to the landscape, you may have to get creative here. And that's just the truth. Take me, for example. I didn't have a lick of experience when I started managing social media accounts for clients. I did have like an overarching knowledge of digital platforms and I had a sales background, but there was a time when I was completely new to the business. But I broke that barrier to entry and gained experience by reaching out to local businesses. I listened to their needs and I would do little projects for them for free. And from those little projects, I gained experience, portfolio material, and trust. And from that, I've been able to build something I'm sincerely proud of and passionate about. So trust me, it's worth it. As a quick little side note, you will stand out like a glorious unicorn of types. Why? Because nobody in this day and age is willing to work for free. It will seem unbelievable to a business owner that someone would be so floored that you want to offer this to them, and then guess what they'll do next? They will tell all their business owner friends about you, and it could be the start of an amazing professional network for you. This tactic will pay off. But if you go this route, exercise your best judgment. If the scope of the project is simply too large to do for free, in addition to whatever you may or may not have had from your day job, you might still be working that. Don't be afraid to say no or offer to do something else for them on a smaller scale. So YouTube, I wanna know your thoughts about this. What do you really think about this tactic? I really wanna know if you would be willing to work for free to build your portfolio. Have you done this? Has it worked for you? Give me all of the tea in the comments. At this point in the video, you may be wondering, how exactly do I create a really professional image of my business so that I don't look and operate like a social media newbie? Well, I'm so glad you asked. That is exactly why I want you to head to the description and download my free guide on how to become a paid social media manager pro that explains pricing, proposals, your website, and everything that you need to look your best as a social media manager in 2023. Simply click the link in the description to get your copy for free. And next, the easiest thing that you can do to start off as a social media manager is to tell everyone. I know this tactic seems obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people are shy about just getting started. And if you are one of those shy folks, listen, I totally get it. When I started my business, I would wonder, why is this such a lonely experience? And I realized that it's because I felt like everyone thought I was, well, crazy. And to be honest, I kind of was and still am, but anyways, that's because the steps to being your own boss, it's kind of a crazy thing to do, especially if your goal is to replace your stable day job with your freelance work and maybe eventually become an agency owner, just like I did. You truly have to take crazy leaps of faith and leave something behind that is easy and stable and enter a world of complete uncertainty. And well, this confuses people. And it can also foster some jealousy. If somebody wants to do what you're doing but doesn't have the courage yet to take the leap, sometimes feelings of jealousy or resentment may arise and they might not be as supportive as you hoped. This happens way more often than you think. But for every person that may be confused or jealous about your business endeavor, there are two people who are excited to see you thrive. I promise. The good far outweighs the challenging. There are people in your life who will support you in this endeavor, people who actually want to help you and see you win. There are people in your family, your immediate circle, people who follow you on Instagram, people you were nice to at one time, maybe even years ago, who just want to see you succeed. But they can't help you if they don't know what you need help with. This is where you come in. It's time to ask. So cast this anxiety aside and start promoting yourself on your social channels and talking about your business to your friends and family. It's a step you're just gonna have to take. And if you're passionate about this new line of work, don't try to water it down for others. Allow yourself to speak passionately. Allow yourself to be earnest and excited. Dimming your light to make others feel comfortable will leave you feeling empty and dishonoring to the call. Don't do it. If you've made it this far in the video, we're gonna take a second to celebrate those who might feel scared or nervous but are doing it anyway. Take a second and type the word newbie into the comments so we can proudly own this moment together. Here's the deal. When people see someone who genuinely cares and wants to help, that's the person they're gonna go to when they do need social media assistance. you will be on their mind. And all of a sudden, that conversation you had years ago, that comment you made, a small spark will start a fire. Don't be afraid to share about your business. I hope these tips have answered the frustrating question of how do I gain experience when no one will hire me? It is frustrating, but starting anything always comes with challenges. And I know it sounds cliched, but bear with me. Anything worth having is often hard won. Everyone at one point was a beginner, and I personally believe there is beauty in small beginnings. So enjoy this season, bask in it, own it, but do the work. Get creative, get some spec work going, do some stuff for free, and talk about what you do unfiltered. You'll be surprised at how quickly things will change for you. Now that you've learned how to attract clients with no experience, the next step is to learn how to sell without selling. So make sure you watch this video where I will teach you exactly how to grow your business and clientele without having to be salesy, so you can maximize results and minimize awkward conversations. Until next time.